Bless the Lord. Stand, we turn over to prayer.
Pleasant morning to everyone. Just look at your neighbor and say, it's good to see you today. God bless you. And give them not an elbow, but just touch them so that you know that we are alive and well. Lamentation 3:22-23. Because the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. We say amen. Amen. In the context of the text, Babylon had been plundered by Jerusalem. Yet even as smoke was still rising from the ashes, Jeremiah understood these tremendous deeds. God's compassion appears. His mercy is new every morning. Great is God's faithfulness. This text was a true inspiration for Thomas Chitton, who penned the great hymn, Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, O Lord, unto me. As we are all here assembled at this 62nd annual general meeting, we can all truly testify that God has been good to us. He has been faithful to us. Although we're not at the end of the year 2020, we can all agree that thus far it has been a most challenging year, to say the least. We have all been impacted by COVID-19. We have all lost or known someone who has passed on. Like other financial institutions, this community is not immune to the impact of COVID-19. But in the midst of this pandemic and perplexities, this morning we can truly celebrate that God's grace has sustained us, God's guidance has protected us, and God gives continued performance. As we move forward, let us continue to hold on to the unchanging God and understand full well what the prophet Isaiah said in Isaiah 40 verse 31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Let us stand as we look to God in prayer. Through many biggest toils and snares, we have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought we saved us far, and grace will lead us home. Lord, this morning we are most thankful for your grace and for your hands of faithfulness that preserve and sustain this institution in the midst of our challenges, world crises, and setbacks. Lord, into your hands we commend this AGM. Grant us, dear Lord, clarity in thoughts and speech. Grant us unity in spirit and in purpose. And even in the midst of disagreement, may your wisdom resolve and guide us. Let us not be selfish in our own eyes and ambition, but help us, O Lord, to rally up with one cause for the advancement of this great kingdom. May our objectives be achieved, and that this body will further be strengthened and positioned to do even better in the future. Pronounce a special blessing on our day's proceedings. And may all that we do bring glory and honor to your kingdom. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, In the name of the Holy Spirit, we say Amen. We will turn to the prayer of St. Francis. And we all read it together to the back of your booklet. Sorry. After two. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Oh, my Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as consoled, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as loved. For it is in the giving that we receive, and the pardon that we are, and the dying that we are to eternal life. We say Amen. Just remain standing. Many of our members will have transitioned in the year 2019, and it's time to honor them. The names are as follows: Michael Pinnock, February 21, 2019. Ron West, February 21, 2019. Maureen Hamilton Williams, passed on July 28, 2019. Joseph Donaldson, transition September 2019. Roger Kelly, transition September 7, 2019. Stephen Carras, transition November 21, 2019. Lloyd Stewart, March 4, 2019. Leroy Francis, December 17, 2019. Marjorie Murdoch Carr, July 27, 2019. Clement Dawkins, June 23, 2019. Sylvan Thomas, October 8, 2019. Franklin Evans, August 1, 2019. Let's all now share in a moment of silence in their honor. Beginning now. Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Let perpetual light shine upon them. May their souls of all the faithful departed, the mercy of God, rest in peace. In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we lift our voice and we say Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you very much, friends. Are you hearing me? Okay, thanks. As I was saying, that last part there, it can be rocky. Michael, but we have to be strong, and this is our 52nd general annual general meeting. So we have to be strong, and I have to be strong and flow as a bird. I move now to welcome and Adams is down with the COVID-19 we just hope and pray for strength and guidance for him to recover in a short period of time. Apologies for prayer committee. Any apologies for the MIPs?
Chairman. What's your name? Mr. Michael Parkinson.
Yes, I'd like to take the apology for Michael Parkinson, who is not feeling very well, I understand.
Not COVID.
Not COVID, no.
We're not sure. We're not sure, so just.
Okay, thank you. Supervisory committee.
This morning, I would like to thank my colleagues for Secretary and the Chairman of the committee, and our member, which is Mr. Nigel Davis, student for Mixed Ward and Sanchez. They are Chairman of the Secretary, and the Secretary is away, and Ms. Sanchez has to report for work as she will be.
Thank you very much, sir. Welcome once again to our 52nd annual general meeting. We know we look forward for this meeting, and I know when members realize July came to a close, August, September, and now we're in October, they are saying, what happened? But because of the challenge with COVID-19, we just want to say thanks to the government, to the registrar, to the MOH, to make this thing possible. And we are in our credit union week. Normally we would have our Members Appreciation Day, but what a great day for us to have it here in each other company. All the branches are here, so we'll move on with our AGM and our Members Appreciation Day. Yesterday was our International Credit Union Day. So welcome each and everyone. Even though it's Friday, we normally would have our AGM on a Saturday, but we know our members and we know them best. They are out in their numbers. Thank you very much. I just want to make special welcome to our key guests at our AGM from the Jamaica Co-operative Credit Union League. We have one and only, Mrs. Katrina Grandi. From the panel of Cooperative and Friendly Society, we have Mrs. Nadia Michael. We have Mr. Richard Dunn over there. From our auditing firm, we have over here we got that. But from Pro, we have Mr. Odell. We have our own dedicated stenographer, Mr. Carl Brown. I have to mention, we have our own general manager, past general manager, Daphne Johnson. Miss Mark, you remember the fish? Every Monday and Friday, we know we get our fish. And between me and Mr. Hunter at 7 Union Square, we always know that mine will be the big of the fish. So Mr. Thank you very much. I'm seeing Mr. Maurice Channel. Welcome. What happened last year, but you're here now. I'm seeing over there Christopher Hurst. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much for coming. It's Irene Mackenzie. When I saw you came in this morning, I thought it was a young sweet bird. I mean, I guess I was knocking down. Thank you very much for coming, madam. I must also welcome, we are streaming live, so we are welcoming all our members over here at this time, taking our annual general meeting. At this time, I move on to item 6, confirmation of the minutes of the 51st annual general meeting held on August 10, 2019 at the conference center. And I'm just going to invite our secretary for this Stacey and no, to come and go through and invite our minutes on page 9 to 20. Before they sing, come to the podium, I'm just asking members, please put your phone on vibrate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President. I kindly invite you all to turn your report to page 9. You will find our minutes from page 9 through to 20. So our minutes having been circulated, may I have a motion for it to be taken as read? Please just state your name for the records, please. Microphone. Oh, where is the school microphone?
Voice loading up.
Oh, you can just project.
What is responsibility Seymour?
Is that better? No.
Oh, take just your face.
Woman is responsible for Seymour from the West Kingston Division.
Okay, roll the seat.
At this time, we'll go through the correction, any omission. And we'll begin on the first page, which is page 9. So I'm taking that we have read it already. Alright, no correction, no omission on page 1. You're page 9. We move on to page 2. Is page 10 in the booklet. Page 11. And we now move to our final page of the minutes, page 20. Any corrections, any omissions? If there are no corrections, no omission, may I have a motion for the confirmation of the minutes? So moved by Mr. Murdoch, Christopher Murdoch, seconded by Mr. We take Miss Irene Mackenzie. Thank you very much. We now move into matters arising, starting on page 9. So anything that you wish to query or to comment on? Page 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That completes the examination of the minutes. Podium please. Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Before I move on, I just want to thank our Secretary, Errol Adams, for the quality and the delivery of the minutes year after year. I just want Mr. Adams, who is listening now, to say how grateful we are to have the finest writer at PSECCU Co-operative Union on the board of directors. Thank you very much. Moving right along, and we are at item number 7, and we have reports, and the board reports falls next, and in our report it's on page 21 to page 29. It's also on screen, so report of Board of Directors 2019. It with profound pleasure that I report on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Public Sector's Employees Co-operative Union Limited, the PSECCU recorded another successful year's operation with growth of 6.6% in total assets. This success was through careful fiscal steering and hands-on actions to the dynamic economic environment, at the same time still satisfying our members' financial needs. We continue our mission of empowering the economics of our members by operating efficiently and providing high-quality, applicable financial services and prudent counsel, whilst acting with value, integrity, financial prudence, transparency, and in conformity with statutory regulations. Our national economy. Jamaica's economy continues to grow. Now we're standing at a slow pace of 0.9% for 2019. Growth was mainly due to higher external demand underpinned by strong fiscal discipline. The year 2019 saw the successful end of the Jamaica's Economic Reform Program with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The country reached a 50% point drop in debt to GDP to 94% currently since the start of the extended fund facility in 2013. This is forecasted to reach the target of 60% of GDP by 2025 to 26 fiscal year. The unemployment rate fell to a record low of 7.919%. Jamaica's credit rating was upgraded by Standard & Poor's to B to B plus from B, with a stable outlook in September. Moody's followed suit in December by upgrading its credit rate of Jamaica to B2 from B3. Both external credit rating agencies cited the government's strong fiscal discipline and improved macroeconomic stability as key factors influencing against credit union movement performance. Although the credit union movement increased its savings, loans, and assets, the growth rate seen in 2018. The movement also experienced a decline in total membership during 2019, suggesting a need for potential strategies. The movement ended the year with 25 credit unions, compared to 26 at the end of 2018. The decline in the movement resulted from the distribution of one credit union to transition to a thrifty society. Credit union growth. Total savings grew at 7.91% from 89.3 billion in 2018 to 96.3 billion at the end of 2019. The value of loans increased from 78.8 billion to 88.7 billion, a 12.5% increase over 2018. Total assets increased by 8.6% to 123.9 billion, up from 114.2 billion. Credit unions membership declined in 2019, decreasing to 1,006,557 from 1,021,267 recorded for the period December 31st, 2018. Growth in loan in 2019 the average growth in personal loan witnessed by commercial banks, building society, and merchant bank. All 25 credit unions witnessed increases in total assets for 2019 relative to 2018. However, only 15 of the 25 achieved asset growth above the recorded calendar year inflation of 6.2%. The public sector employees Co-operative Union Limited achieved another successful year of operations, resulting in gross revenue of 344 million, an increase of 16.98% for 2019 when compared to 2018. Expenses were contained at 14.38% or 308.4 million, resulting in net income of 35.6 million or 45.6% for 2019. And as we have on our screen there, we have our to 2019. Operating expenses
And this is on page 23 where we have our capital base. We continue to work in readiness for the draft Credit Union Acts and Regulation. Capital adequacy is the main requirement for a license under the draft Credit Union Act and Regulation, and our institutional capital stands at 12.6%, which is above the minimum required set by the Co-operative Union League Limited, per standard, and the Bank of Jamaica primary ratio 8 and 6%. So PSECCU is well above the 8 and the 6% set by this entity. We are way above. Financial performance in key operating areas. The deposit growth was driven by several marketing initiatives which focused on the needs of our members through their life stages and provided them with the tools required to grow for the wealth management. This includes saving programs offering high premium of return. The loan portfolio at the end of 2019 stood at 2.1 billion, up from 1.9 billion reported at December 2018, representing a year-over-year increase of 217 million, or 11.05%. Loans disbursed total 1.6 billion. This solid performance is underpinned by the society promise to providing our members with excellent service at all touch points and commitment to ongoing process improvement aimed at shortening the end-to-end process time while delivering. On our screen, we have our 5-year key operating. (2018) 9456, and in 2020 we make a jump to 10,311. We have our total asset, so loans to members, saving, our institutional capital, and that is the key for all credit unions to survive in these days. We have our IFRS 9, non-performing loans. The loan quality ratio, and this is a measure of non-performing loan expressed as a percentage of total loan portfolio, was 2.92% at the end of 2019. We attribute this quality of loan portfolio to prudent credit risk management processes. About keeping this portfolio below credit union's fair ratio of 5%. IFRS 9 provision. In January 2018, the credit union adopted International Financial Reporting Standard 9, that is IFRS 9, requiring the recognition of expected credit loss for certain financial assets. The IFRS 9 standard has significantly impacted how the credit union makes provision for its delinquent loans. The loan loss allowances increased by 40.92% or 13.2 million to 45.5 million at the end of 2019 from 32.3 million at the end of 2018. The increase in loan loss allowances was mainly due to adjustments in how the provision of delinquent loans were calculated. The delinquent loan increased by 59.48% over the period, moving from 40.819 million at the end of 2018 to 65.09 million at the end of 2018. To manage the delinquency, to include telephone calls, reminders, warning on a monthly basis, employment of debt collectors, and pursuing legal action. We also assess members' credit history through the services of two credit bureaus. Risk and compliance. PSECCU have established an enterprise risk management framework which incorporates the board, management, and staff in an effort to identify measures and reduce risks. One of the key risk faced by the credit union is money laundering. The credit union has implemented policies, procedures, and programs to prevent and detect money laundering and the finance of terrorism activities in compliance with the anti-money laundering and the counter-financing of terrorism laws. The appointed nominated legal risk and compliance manager had the dual role of managing legal affairs as well as enterprise risk management. The core function of enterprise risk management in the credit union is to ensure significant risk through the use of risk register. The credit union continues to maintain a high level of compliance with all laws and regulations relating to its operation. Throughout the year 2019, the credit union ensured its legal obligation with regards to money laundering and terrorist financing were met by completing the following activities. Threshold and suspicious transaction report by the designated authority. Customer due diligence was conducted, and this is a way of upgrading customer information. Employee integrity documents were signed. Evaluation of credit unions' compliance with laws and regulations conducted. AML, CFT training and retraining were undertaken for staff, management, and volunteers. We are aware that the Bank of Jamaica will be considering the credit union risk management framework for licensing, and we are committed to providing management the tools and resources required to implement a robust risk management framework to emphasize on money laundering and terrorism financing. Staff development. The Board of Directors continue to devote in the development and training of directors, committee members, management, and staff to add significant value to the credit union and personal development. To its volunteers, management, and staff, because human resource enables and supports execution of strategies stroking of organization capability. We ensure that the volunteers, committee, members, management and staff were being trained to the highest level of the proficiency relevant to their function, to be able to give quality service and professional advice to our membership. Several internal training sessions were conducted, covering areas as customer service, sales and cross-selling, customer charter and compliance procedure of the Crime Act, management policy and product and services overview. Board of Directors, management, staff and committee members also participated in training programs conducted by the Jamaican Credit Union League. These include financial instruments, that is the IFRS 9, credit administration, classification and provision, and non-accrual requirement workshop. Insolvency Act awareness session, business continuity planning and sensitization workshop. Audit techniques for supervisory and internal auditor, orientation for new credit union staff, delinquency management and meeting protocols for credit union presidents and secretaries. Staff complement. At the end of 2019, the credit union had a total staff complement of 52 employees operating from the head office. In offering the current mixture of products and services to the satisfaction of all our members. And as such, we continue to provide a wide range of products and services. Access plus the debit master upgrade. PSECCU conduction to the Jamaica Co-operative Union League is for upgrading the debit card switch and will be offering a new Access Plus debit MasterCard with other enhanced fee services. This upgrade will significantly improve the features and offering of the credit union's debit card, such as the EMV chip and PIN, and you know all that what that is. You put in your card, your little pin before activating, so it is quite secure and safe. Chip and PIN technology, which will provide greater security features for all transaction types. The new debit card will allow for international point of sale and ATM transaction. Members will also be able to purchase food and services online in local and foreign currency. The additional services that will accompany the new Access Plus debit MasterCard include enhanced internet banking services, bill payments through Paymaster. Credit union will also have the opportunity to provide interconnectivity services which will allow members to conduct transactions at any one of the credit union branches island-wide. The JACO is in the process of getting regulatory approval. Once completed, the current debit card will be recalled and replaced free of charge. So you will get your text message as usual when that process starts. Saving and investment. As we encourage our members to build and maintain healthy financial practices, we continue to offer several saving and investment options, such as our different shares, offering special deposit accounts, regular deposit account, and Christmas Club savers account and the youth savers account. We continue to offer supplementary services such as bill express facilities, life insurance. Our products feature secure and unsecured loan for all purposes and saving accounts that attract the most competitive rate of returns in the market. We have reduced interest rate on home acquisition loan, home equity loan, and new motor car purchase loan to 7.9, 8.9, and 7.9 respectively. We also partner with the NHG to be able to offer up to 1.5 to members earning less than 42,000 per week to assist with home acquisition, deposit, repairs, solar panel, etc. Advertising and promotion. We engage in several activities throughout the year to promote our products and services, to target new members and to increase brand presence using traditional and digital media channels. The marketing team participated in seminars, exposition, health fair, and mobile depot offices to drive membership growth. Several ministries and government agencies were targeted at one, so that the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Fire, Licensing Authority, Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, the National Housing Trust, Tax Administration of Jamaica, Electoral Officers of Jamaica, to name a few. The credit union's products and services were advertised using both traditional and digital media channels. Radio advertising campaigns were done monthly on stations such as RFM, Power 106, Zip 103 FM, and MECU FM. The digital campaigns were done monthly on global platforms via AdWords and online display ads. Emphasis was placed on advertising and the special deposit account, which as of December 29 recorded tremendous growth of over 35%. The department engaged in several social media promotions as follows: Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day promotion, and back to school. Because from time to time you see these little texts coming out of the credit union to me. All over last week and before last week, and we have them competing for these prizes. Marketing reach by challenge and membership growth. The credit union managing reach increased by over 1,000% to 33.8 million people across several challenges. Radio, television, print, SMS messaging, and email. The credit union membership increased by over 855 new members, and 85.5% of its membership target was met. Members' relationship management. We know that developing and maintaining lasting members' relations is crucial for our operation and our success. And as such, members were kept abreast of new and updated products via brochure, quarterly newsletters, SMS, and email messages. Members were also able to submit queries via live chat on our website and our social media pages for real-time responses. Welcome letters were also sent to every members. Credit union activities. Credit Union was celebrated from October 14 to 19 under the theme Local Service, Global Reach. Members of Appreciation Day activities were held at each branch with an after-work jam and karaoke at head office. Social contribution. Throughout the year, focus was placed on the well-being of our members through scholarship, bursaries, donation, and sponsorship as follows. 63 pet grant valued at $1 million. 4 scholarship bursaries valued at $800,000. Law Enforcement Torture, the Police Federation Conference, and Special Constable Force retirees and annual luncheon, donation of wall-mounted fans at Bellevue Hospital, donation of wall-mounted fans to Hope Institute Hospital, contribution of cricket years to the General Constable Force, national cricket team, and we donate groceries and toiletries to one of our past members. Donation to members displaced by fire and other natural causes. In conclusion, we remain cognizant of the dynamic operating environment and have employed the necessary strategy to achieve budgeted expenses, greater income generation, and improved productivity to provide support and complement of our members against the impact of the economic challenges. We are committed to continuing the development of creative, comprehensive, and suitable products and services to meet our every need while practicing all principles of prudential finance. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I wish to thank the many individuals, organizations who partnered with us throughout the year in 2019, namely the Department of Co-operative and Friendly Societies, Jamaica Co-Credit Union League, Credit Union Fund Management Company, Central Island Strategic Services, Puna Private Insurance Jamaica Limited, and National Union of Cooperatives. We could not have done it in our own, and so special appreciation to our own CEO, Mr. Osman Bromfield, and his capable management team and staff for the prudent performance throughout the year. We thank the credit and supervisory committee for their assistance throughout the year, and most of all, to you, the General Manager, for your support over the period. It has been our honor to serve you throughout 2019, and we look forward to serving you again. Thank you very much for any question as it relates to the report? Any questions? Going once? Twice? 3 times? Oh. At this time, I don't want to comment the staff of PSECCU Co-operative Union, and at this time, I ask the entire staff to stand where you are, and members around the call, because throughout they are and the entire report of this book was done in-house. It was just sent to the print for printing. So again, thank you. I will now invite the Chair, Mr. Christopher Varda, to come to the podium. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Okay, I was going to do it at the end to, okay. All right, I need a motion for the adoption of the board report. Moved by, my friend.
Oh, she's here.
My friend, Lenora Williams.
She's here.
Lenora Williams. Lenora Williams. Seconded by? Sir?
China.
Mr. Maurice Chana. Thank you very much, Mr. Treasurer.
Morning to you all. Before I move into the Treasurer's report, I just want to invite our auditor representing Court Jamaica to come and give the auditor's report. Put your hand together for representing.
Morning, everyone. I'm going to present the audit report, which starts on page 45 in your AGM book. Report of the independent auditors to the Registrar of Cooperatives and Friendly Societies. 3. Public sector employees, Cooperative Credit Union Limited, formerly National Security Employees Cooperative Credit Union Limited, a society registered under the Cooperative Societies Act. Opinion. We have audited the financial statements of public sector employees, Cooperative Credit Union Limited, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2019, the statement of comprehensive income, statements of changes in equity and cash flows the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the credit union's financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the credit union as at 31st December 2019 and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRSs. Basis of opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with International Standards on Auditing, ISAs. Our responsibilities under the standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements section of our report. We are independent of the credit union in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants School of Ethics for Professional Accountants, IESTA code. And we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the IESTA code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide basis for our opinion. Key audit matter. Expected credit loss, ECL, on financial assets. IFRS 9 was implemented by the entity on January 1st, 2019. The adopted standard is new and complex and requires the entity to recognize expected credit losses, ECL, on financial assets, the determination of which is highly subjective and requires management to make significant judgment and estimates. The key areas requiring management judgment include the identification of significant increase in credit risk, SICR, the determination of probabilities of default, loss given default, exposure at the default, and the indication of forward-looking information. Significant management judgment is used in determining the appropriate variables and assumptions used in the ECL computations, which increase the risk of material misstatement. We therefore determine that impairment on loans receivable and investment securities has a high degree of estimate uncertainty. In addition, disclosure regarding the entity's application of IFRS 9 are key to understand the change from IAS 39, as well as explaining the key judgments and material inputs to the IFRS 9 PCL results. Our procedures in this area included the following: obtaining an understanding of the models used by the entity for the calculation of expected credit losses, including governance over the determination of key judgments; testing the design and operating effectiveness of the key control over the completeness and accuracy of the key data inputs into IFRS 9 impairment models for investment; testing the completeness and accuracy of the data used in the models of the underlying accounting records based on a sample basis; evaluation of the appropriateness of the entity's impairment model, including star criteria presented; assessment of the assumptions for probability of default, loss given default, and exposure at default; assessment of the adequacy of the disclosure of the key assumption and judgments, as well as detailed transition adjustment for compliance with IFRS 9. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the annual report is expected to be made available to us after the date of this auditor's report. Our opinion on the financial statements does not cover the other information, and we do not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements, or our knowledge obtained in the audit or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. If, based on the work we have performed, we conclude that there is a material misstatement of this other information, we're required to report that fact. Responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. Management In preparing the financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the credit union's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters relating to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the credit union or to cease operation or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the credit union's financial reporting process. Auditors' responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISAs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if, individually or in the aggregate, they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ISAs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is either the one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. Obtaining an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the credit union's internal control. We also evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. We conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of going concern basis of accounting and based on the audit evidence obtained whether material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the credit union's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we're going to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the financial statements, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. Our future events or conditions may cause the credit union to cease to continue as a going concern. We also evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements, including the disclosures and whether the financial statements present the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. We communicate with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identified during our audit. Report on additional matters as required by the Co-operative Societies Act. We have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been maintained so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the financial statements, which are in agreement therewith, give the information required by the Co-operative Societies Act in the manner required. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Simone Howell, signed Pro Howard Jamaica, May 1st, 2020.
Thank you, Ms. Simone Howell from Co-operative Jamaica, or auditors, independent auditors. What I'll be presenting is the financial report, and let me just advise you that the financial report is contained from page 49 through to page 98, but I'll condense the report and the information that I've been presenting. At the end of it, I'm going to ask for an adoption of the financial statement of the credit union. And my report will be as follows. Jamaica's economy continues its expansion, recording 7 consecutive years of growth. The gross domestic product, GDP, my report is on page 30. And the third line of their annual report, and the financial statement of the credit union is contained from page 49 through to 90. Then the auditor's report is from page 45 to 48. I'll read again. Jamaica's economy continued its expansion, recording 7 consecutive years of growth. Gross domestic product GDP increased by 0.9% for the year compared to 1.1% for the previous year. The Jamaican dollar appreciated by 3.82% compared to 2.18% for 2018. The dollar continued to fluctuate against its U.S. counterpart and reached as high as $140.23 in November 2019. It closed the year at $130.57 compared to $127.07 for December 2018. Interest rates on investment continue to trend down and close the year at 0.5%. after that opened the year at 1.5%, and rates are expected to remain low considering the recovery efforts expected after the COVID-19 pandemic. The financial sector continued its strong growth path, with total assets increasing by 10.49%, loans grew by 16.28%, capital increased by 11.03%, and savings by 9.34%. The PSECCU reports another successful year as it continues to grow in all financial areas. We continue to experience a strong demand for loans, with net loans growth of 11.05%, a change of 217 million, moving from moving from 289 million at the end of 2018 to 241 million at the end of 2019, a change of 47 million. We also experienced strong growth in savings of 11.71% to 188 million, and equity of 10.59% or 37 million. Our total asset increased from 2.493 billion at the close of 2018 to 2.659 billion at the close of 2019, a difference of 165 million or 6.65%. Figure below which the graph are shown in table 2 below. The total income grew by 57.5 million or 14.67%, increasing from 392.3 million in 2018 to 449.9 million in 2019. Interest on loans grew by 10.87% or 39 million, 400 million at the end of 2019 from 361 million at the end of 2018. We benefited from the higher return generated by the stock market and realized a gain on investment of 12 million for 2019 compared to 5.3 million for 2018, a change of 6.7 million or 125.88%. Miscellaneous income showed strong growth and an increase from 26 million at the end of 2018 to 37.5 million at the end of 2019, a difference of 11.5 million or 14.66%. And our table will show our portfolio growth. As a financial institution, the credit union pays for the resources it uses to fund its operation. The cost of funds for the year 2019 increased by 14.89% or 12 million, moving from 8.4 million at the end of 2018 to 92.4 million at the end of 2019. For the first time in many years, we paid more of our saving deposits compared to external credits. The change was due largely to our savings campaign, which was executed through the year and will continue for the foreseeable future. At the end of 2019, credit union paid in excess of 47 million to the depositors. Isn't that amazing? Compared to 36 million for 2018, an increase of 31.45% or 11.33 million. It is expected that the gap between external credit the amount paid to diverse shares increased by 91% or 1.1 billion moving from 1.3 million at the end of 2018 to 2.4 million at the end of 2019. This increase shows our members are consistently benefiting from stable interest payments. We continue to encourage all our members to save with us, as our interest payment on deposits and shares are some of the most attractive in the market. External credit declined marginally by 1.27%, or $529,453 to $41.2 million at the end of 2019 from $41.7 million at the end of 2018, while bank charges increased marginally by 1.07%, or $40,926 from $1.392 million to $1.407 million. And the table below will show our cost of funds. Continuously never-ending efforts of cost containment. However, the addition of the Oakmore branch and the resultant increased staff along with the relocation of the branch to a more strategic location and resulted in increased costs. The growth in gross income of 16.98% was more than the growth in expense of 14.38%, which contributed positively to the increase in net profit to 11.163 million or 45.7%. The increase in profit from 24.495 million to 35.659 million illustrated positive year the credit union as it was able to continue on its growth path. The increased revenue contained expenses and generate increased profits. Should we amen for that?
Amen.
The excellent performance of the year is further driven by the 126.5% increase in total comprehensive income. At the end of 2018, total comprehensive income was recorded at 26.407 million. It increased by more than 20.874 million during 2019 and closed the year at 47.281 million, as displayed in table 4 below. Or 14.38% compared to 25.391 million or 10.40% during 2018. The average increase was due in part to the addition of the Oakmore branch and the relocation of the Montgomery branch. Personnel costs increased by 15.3% or 25.8 million, resulting from the new staff employed on the Oakmore and Montgomery branches. Spending their first full year of credit union, the increased members activity resulted in increased members insurance premium by 12.42% or 2.4 million. Despite increased radio and television presence, marketing costs declined by 15.89% or 1.3 million. The addition of the Oakmore branch and the upgrade Montgomery branch impacted administrative costs and contributed to the increase of 27.06% or 11.8 million. Our patient costs, which is constituted of fees and contribution to our lead increased marginally by 0.13%. Delinquency. The IFRS 9 standard, as will have been outlined by our auditor, has significantly impacted how the credit union makes provision for its delinquent loans. The loan loss allowance increased by 40.92% or 13.204 million to 45.478 million at the end of 2019 from 32.273 million at the end of 2018. The increase in loan loss allowance was due to adjustment in how the provisioning for delinquent loans were calculated. The delinquent loans increased by 59.48% over the period, moving from 40.819 million at the end of 2018 to 65.096 million at the end of 2019, a difference of 24.277 million. We continue to make efforts to minimize delinquency by taking actions against delinquent members. Some of our efforts include calling and writing delinquent members on a monthly basis, maintaining However, we are still faced with continued resignation of members of delinquent statutory force due mainly to migration, which makes collecting on the delinquent loan more difficult. Acknowledgement. I would like to express my gratitude to the members elected to serve on the board and to the directors who have entrusted me with the responsibility of treasurer. Your enthusiasm, commitment, and support were inspiring. I am thankful to the management and staff for the dedication, loyalty to continue to work, which has contributed to another successful year for the credit union. I am also thankful to the Department of Co-operative and Friendly Societies, Co-operative Chartered Accountants, and the Co-operative Credit Union League for their support throughout the year. To all members, are there any questions?
Too much.
Going once? Right? Three times. Thank you. Now, as I started and I asked you for an adoption of the credit union financial statement, I now ask for a motion to move for the adoption of the financial statement of credit union. So moved by, may have a name by Erica Johnson, seconded by
Oldness.
Rosina. Oldness. Thank you. Those in favor? Those in favor of the hearing? The ayes have it. Those against?
No.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. A detailed report, and as the content, we are doing great indeed. I now move to the credit committee report, and I call chairman for the credit committee, and that report is on page 100 to 101.
Madam Secretary.
I'm not the chairman, I'm the secretary. Report from the credit committee for year ending 2019. The credit committee is a those above shares application and ratify loans approved by the credit administration manager. The committee meets on average twice per month. However, unscheduled meetings are held when the needs arise. The committee also attends joint meetings held on a quarterly basis with the board of directors and the supervisory committee. The following members who were retired and made themselves available for nomination are Mr. Michael Carlson and Stephen Watson, and this was at our last annual general meeting held on Saturday, August 10, 2019 at the Jamaica Conference Center, Fort Royal Street, Kingston. They were selected and returned to serve for 2 years. On Monday, August 12, 2019, a special meeting was held by the committee to elect chairman and secretary. Mrs. Michael Carlson was elected chairman and Mrs. Carly Allen secretary. During here, we saw improvement on the following loans, and there's a table there for your reading. Rules, regulations, and policies. Below there is the attendance report. We take this opportunity to thank you, our membership, for your vote of confidence in letting us serve you during 2019, and we look forward to continuing service to you. Thanks also to the Board of Directors, staff, and other committees for your support during 2019, and we look forward to your support during this year. Thank you very much. Any question? Once? Any question? Twice? Any question? Go on. Thank you very much.
Question?
I reminded that there should be a motion for the adoption of the credit committee report. Moved by Carl Golding. Seconded by Jason. Jason Rodriguez. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Secretary, Ali. Just an announcement, Blue Toyota Axio 4249, Blue Toyota Axio 4249 FM. You're back to the opening is closed. 4249, so like my staff. Okay, come on, fellas. Yeah.
Silvani?
Where's Silvani?
Moving right along, and the supervisory committee report, I now ask Omar Drysdale to come forward.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My president indicated that Drysdale. A report on the supervisory committee for a year ending 2019. We're on page 102 to 103. It's my esteemed pleasure to present the Supervisory Committee's annual report for a year in 2019. Members' financial security matters most. The committee role is to maintain oversight of the safety and soundness of the credit union. Today we remain committed to the task, operating independently of all entities of the credit union. We are dedicated with the constant effort of ensuring that the board, staff, all policies, practices, and procedures are compliant with the applicable laws and regulations. We are mandated to ensure that the credit union constantly seeks to maximize benefits to our members, and that the overall operations are in keeping with local and international best practices within the movement. At the 51st Annual General Meeting on August 10, 2019, the following members were duly elected and serve on the Supervisory Committee in the following capacities. Mr. Nigel Davis, Chairman, Jennifer Dixon. Attendance record. And you can look. Management. These include delinquent loans, charge-off loans, and allowance for loan loss, anti-money laundering (AML), countering of terrorism financing (CTF) framework, disbursement process, board of directors meeting, lodgement process, loan verification, 4 months appraisal, surprise cash flow. There was general adherence to establish policies and procedures, compliance with the related laws and regulations that govern the credit union's operation were adequate. You are able to make recommendations, implementation of which resulted in improvements in the control environment, thus reducing the risk of loss to the operation. supervisor committee review the result and periodically check with the management on any action items identified in the report. The supervisor committee can say with complete and confidence that the credit union continues to maintain a high level of financial safety and soundness. We will remain vigilant representatives to our members' interests, ensuring continued safety and soundness for your money as credit union strives to provide you and your family with excellent member service. We wish to record our warm and sincere thanks to the Board of Directors, management, internal auditors, and the staff for their courteous and cooperation through the year. We recognize our work undertaken by all to maintain and improve the support and services provided by the credit union and its members. I thank you. Are there any questions? Going once? Going twice?
Twice.
Going twice. And we will go on. May I have a move of adoption for minutes? Move by Lenora Williams. Hilton. Yes, sir. Second by Mr. Howard Williams. Owen Williams. Okay, I must also acknowledge the error of Mrs. Sanchez in one person. She is able to attend. She must. Thank you, Madam
Thank you, Mr. Grande. I know Mr. Andrew Johnson, the chairman of the nomination committee, will come forward.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon, all. In accordance with Rule 64, I'm reading from page 105. In accordance with Rule 64, governing the operation of the public sector employees cooperative credit union limited, not less than 9 days prior to each annual general meeting, the Board of Directors shall appoint a nomination committee of 3 members, of which no more than 1 may be a member of the existing Board of Directors. Nomination committee appointed by the Board of Directors and its meetings held on February 30, 2020, in keeping with Rule 64, committee comprised of the persons named below. Yours truly, from the Board of Directors, Mr. Michael Ferguson from the committee, and Mr. Maxwell Green, Deputy CEO of Finance and Admin. In performing its tasks, the committee was guided by Rule 64 AF. Board of Directors status is as follows. Those retiring in 2020 are Mr. Calvin Allen, Mr. Jeanette Davis, Stacey and Graham, Mr. Eric Winter, and Mr. Gordon Falk. And those retiring next year will be Mr. George Hunter, Christopher Murdoch, Errol Adams, and Andrew Johnson. The nomination committee recommends that the Board of Directors below be elected to serve for a term of 2 years. Mr. Calvin Allen, Jeanette Davis, Stacey Graham, Eric Quinn, and Courtney Farmer. There were no additional nominations for that committee for the Board of Directors, and those persons are nominated. There won't be an election. The nomination committee recommends that the credit committee members below be elected to serve for a term of 2 years. That is Mrs. Caroline Allen, Mrs. Patsy Wallen Lindsay, and Mr. Anthony Lewis. And there be no excess nominations. The credit committee members nominated are accepted for the term indicated. The supervisory committee is elected to serve for a period of 1 year, and all members have retired at this annual general meeting. However, based on nomination received and subsequent to assessment, the committee has put forward the following nominations for election by the membership to fill 5 vacancies on the supervisory committee to serve for a term of 1 year. They are Nigel Davis, Joshua Dixon Gordon, Omar. Now, this committee has an excess, and then there will be an election to determine the person who should serve on this committee for a year. Their profiles are indicated in the report. You can read it at your own leisure. I believe when the elections are being done, the director of the elections indicate for persons to the persons being elected to for the profiles to be read at that time. So I've moved over to page 109 to conclude the report. The nomination committee recommends that the board of directors be authorized to appoint the delegates and alternate delegates to represent the credit union where such representation is required. So at this time, I am going to be asking for nomination I'm going to ask that a motion be moved that allows the board of directors to select the nominees, to select the delegates and alternate delegates to represent the union. You don't want a motion for that? All right, what I do, having been advised, I'll hand over to the registrar, I represent from the registrar, to conduct the elections and to take this motion for the selection of delegates and alternate delegates by the board. So at this time, I invite the representative from the registrar to start. Right, before the electoral process, I have a motion for the adoption of the report of the nomination committee, and that's coming first. Mr. Anthony Lewis has a motion and seconded by Eileen Mackenzie.
Morning, everyone. Morning. Oh, sorry. I've been enjoying myself so much.
lost track of time. All right, good. Delegates, and distinguished guests, tickets outstanding. Good steadiness. All right, we're going to go on to the election of the board as per the participants listed by the nominating committee. This is according to the Corporate Society Act and Regulation, whereby you, as we are AGL, selecting these persons for the board. All the delegates are usually selected from amongst the board members, not you members. They have the right to select who shall represent them on the state. Otherwise, I stand corrected. Everybody read the rules and see somewhere in the system. We can correct it. According to the rules, we will start at this rule. Rule 64, section 4 of N. Correct. We will do the elections for the board of directors first, elections for the credit committee, elections for members of supervisory committee, and that's what it's the order that we'll be going. Since you are country rules as well, since there are 2 of the committees, which is the directors and the credit, you would have equal amount, but for the supervisor you have 6. So for the supervisory committee, we actually be doing an election, and that will be by balance. Again, according to your rules, so it's not my time to the runners and persons ready to pass around the bus. So let me repeat again, so we are on the same board. The board of directors first, and what we're doing. The board of directors, the numbers are equal to the vacancies. So that will be just by a show of hands. We can do that in block when we are ready, and just show your hand, and we move on. Then the second one will be as according to your rules, the credit committee. And that, again, is an equal amount. Show of hands, and move on. The final one will be the supervisory committee. That has Nigel Davis, Jennifer Dixon Gordon, Omar Drysdale, Julian Oscar, Sanjay Miller, McPherson, and Jason Rodriguez. Do not vote according to the countdown. I'm expecting that everybody, as they is taking it as read, that you have read the bio of each person, and you have given thought to the persons who you want. And you check on that paper. When we get to that part, then we'll have, once you write on the paper, we'll have the member of staff, colleague, and the accountant, my auditor, will sit down and Nadia Bayev will sit down and help me call and we make that announcement. So everyone is in understanding? Alright. To give a couple of minutes to make sure that everybody has balance. You have a question?
Yes. The 6th person that is coming on for...
It's not 6 coming on, 5 are coming.
Yeah, 1, the additional person that is on the ballot. I need to know his name.
Oh, I don't want you to come up.
Already. Come up.
The supervisory committee of last year consisted of Nigel Davis, Jennifer Dixon Gordon, Omar Drysdale, Julian Oscar, and Sanjay Miller McPherson. Those were your persons. So the new persons with Jason Rodriguez. In their book, on page 109, there is number 6, it's Jason Rodriguez. And I will read it out so everybody can hear who has read it. It's not Mr. Rodriguez right here can stand. operation since 2017. Congratulations, sir. Mr. Rodriguez has been a member of Jamaica Consolidated Force for over 17 years. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration with a major in Accounting and Financial Management from University College of the Caribbean. Mr. Rodriguez has been a member of the credit union since 2003. And since he has been selected, that means that they are vetted, which means that he's not delinquent, he's of sound mind, and is worthy of serving in the community. Does everyone see? Or you want to come up? You can make a couple of you can see the backstage. So this is the stuff from
I am Sergeant Reyes, and the SOIC in charge of operations for the East and Western Division. I wish to be a part of the supervisory committee, so I'm asking for your vote. And I'll be successful in serving you, and I will ensure that I give up my best in service as I always do. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody has a ballot. They must come right? They're too short. As one person identified that he not out of a ballot, so now we can proceed with voting. The voting should really take place at the last one that we're going to do. Because you need the ballots at the start to do it. You shall that X or mark beside the 5 persons who you expect
Early
to be at the
voting.
ceremony.
Early voting.
Not all this is mark. If you have points, so we are spoiled ballots. So it's only 5 that should be marked. Let's leave the concept. It's 5 positions here, so you must vote for 5. Alright, you know, we're going to do the vote, we'll leave the black lamp last so we can get out there a little bit. So anything that has to do with the vote, but that particular supervisory committee, we wait until the end when I'm about to do that. So we can get it up. The first one is the board of directors, which we have George. Sorry, that's next year. The nominees are Colin Allen, the vice president, Davis, the president, the assistant secretary, Eric Wint, and Courtney Fong, who was the reverend this one. So by a show of hands, all in favor? All in favor? You keep your hands up, sir. I just want to count. I'm supposed to say no. Alright, not in favor. No, any abstention? Motion passed. That is your new board of new members of the board of directors. Second one, now which is the credit committee. They were serving for 2 years, right? First one was serving for 2 years. For 2 years. Credit committee, also for 2 years. Persons up for elections, Carly Allen, Patsy Wine Litzy, Anthony Lewis. Alright, by show of hands, all in favor? All against? Abstention. One. Sir, is you voting against?
You will vote against, you see?
Any abstention? Motion carries. Persons have been elected. Now we go to the supervisory committee. Hold on now. I have two questions. One.
Yes, sir. You made mention about putting identify yourself.
Yes, I'll see you once. I'm a member of the credit committee. You made mention. Box beside the ballot or a mark beside the name because you don't want the emergency your people. So I have to establish the turn of the vote.
I'm going to go by what the resident magistrate said, that once a clear indication of whomever you are voting for, which will be is not a mark, is a cross beside the name of the person. I will accept it. No problem. Hopefully, magisterial. That's why the country must put beside the fire if you want. Anyhow, there was a next question. I think somebody else had a question. Madam Lady comes to the road. No other questions? All right. And again, I would like to use delegates and alternative delegates to the league or many other affiliated organizations shall be by the board of directors. Board of directors and any other committee that has been elected within 10 days to determine who your president, treasurer, all the desk office, and you send that to the Department of Government and Society. Of course, according to your rules as well, the registrar, who are not, the registrar is Mr. Harold Gallagher, reserves the right to disagree with this. This is according to the rules. This is assistant registrar and perform corporate governance functions. Page 37 of your rule. Next slide.
What that boy? Boy. Boy, trade too. Come in with a big shape, I'm sure. Big what? Big shape. Big shape? Look here when you come to the next relax. You answer the man. You where you answer
Ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed with the agenda.
When you say
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. We are in this time. We have a set time to leave this hotel based on the protocols.
Next week, so.
COVID protocol. So while this counting is taking place, we are going to go to our next item. And item number 9 is distribution of surplus, and I think I call Mr. Christopher Murdoch to the podium.
We say nobody read here. We tell him. Batch 85.
Thank you, and in sometime. After an exponential year of growth, the Board of Directors recommends the following. Your Board of Directors recommends for approval the appropriation of the undistributed surplus. Page 99. Page 99 of your annual report, where we speak to the distribution of surplus. First, and then we will move to a resolution for the adoption of a motion which will be taken from the floor. So in relation to the distribution of surplus, we want a motion on the floor for it to move and be adopted. It goes as follows. Your Board of Directors recommend for your approval the appropriation of undistributed surplus of $27,411,415. The appropriation, the approved portion as follows. Dividend on permanent shares, $16,255,520.50. Permanent shares transfer fund of $1 million. Disaster relief provisions of $414,852.62. Disability assistance fund of $117,999.76. Tech grant, $1 million. And most of you have already purchased your back to school books. We can now use that for as a tablet for your child moving on to high school. Honorary, $4.5 million. Memorial scholarship, $800,000. Donation, $223,042.12. Annual general meeting reserve, $3 million. Total for distribution, $411,415. May I have a motion for the move by name? Joel Betty. Second by Monica Robinson. A second motion to remove in keeping with Rule 69, the Board of Directors proposed. Oh, sorry. Let's put it to the board. Those in favor. Let's put it on the ayes. Ayes, yes, the ayes have it. Those against? Those abstaining? One, ayes have it. Thank you. Second item of resolution. In keeping with Rule 69, the Board of Directors proposed that the maximum liability for the loans that the Board of Directors borrow is to be set at 60 times science capital and reserve under the Rule 69 of the Book of Rules. Subject to the provision of law and regulation, Board of Directors may borrow from any source on such society or such security on such terms of payment as they think fit, provided that the total amount borrowed shall not exceed 16 times the permanent capital and reserve. That's the rule. So what we're asking for you to do is to give the Board of Directors the authority to go ahead and move to make such borrow finance or loan. Resolution has been proposed. Do I have a motion for someone to carry this resolution? Announcement by Ms. Irene Mackenzie, seconded by Sophia Roll Bambi. Who put it to the vote? Those in favor? Those in favor? Those against? None. Abstention? I have it. Thank you. No, I didn't buy it.
Credit union can borrow X amount of money.
Mr. Bromfield, or CEO, to call and he will speak to the dividends and how it will be a portion. Mr. Bromfield.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know you have voted already on the motion to move and seconded, but in the spirit of custom, really, and I know expectation as well, that we normally have that 16.255%. We normally pay a portion of it in the cash form. So 50% of this 16,255,520 would be paid as cash. But this 16.25 represents 10% on paper furniture, 10% of the existing portfolio of travel. So your return investment is 10%. And therefore I encourage you, if you don't need the cash, you can make it stay on share, because that's one of the most attractive investment options that we have available now. If we were to take a test and say that you don't want any cash portion, then all of it will be added to your existing permanent share. So effectively what I'm saying to you now is that the motion will move on secondly. And the principle or the spirit of dictation of you and the board intention is to pay you 50% of this in cash, and the other 50% will be added to your existing permanent share. So I don't know if anybody wants to agree with me and maybe just to move a motion that you agree with this proposition, and then we just add it as accepted. Somebody moved on. Well, Mr. Lewis first, and I saw this gentleman. What's his name? Cecil Hyde. Oh, Cecil Hyde. So, moved by Mr. Anthony Lewis and seconded by Cecil Hyde. So, the decision now is that, well, those are the... Aye. Those against? Any abstention? So the decision that the dividend that was approved earlier will be shared equally, 50% as cash and 50% will be credited to your existing permanent share. And just to say that we will do it as soon as it's practicable. So maybe by the end of next week, it will be credited to your account.
as you are aware, we always give back something, no matter how small, but this time it's large. So once again, say thanks to see you. Item number 11, appointment of auditors. We have our committed and dedicated auditors, so we just ask us this time with the membership for us to continue with our auditor into the new year. Can I have some hands up for the continuation of our auditors? No. I love it. Thank you very much, members. Thank you. Any other business? Members, this is your time. Anything to discuss from the floor? Any other business? Going once? Twice? 3 times? Gone. Thank you. Now this is our exciting section of our AGM, the join of crisis. And I just call Kelly and Dixon.
Marketing manager.
Alright, okay, we've got something later. We know school is online. We know the cost for tablets. We have some tablets to give away. Yes, we have some tablets to give away. Give away the president, we have to triple the brain first. So please listen carefully. And I asked my director's credit committee to just hands it up first and the right question. We have 2 mics there. So once you hear the question, please remember.
Is it the person who reached you first?
No. So we have 2 mics. Remember, run ahead and trick on before because we don't want any of our members in the hospital at this COVID time right now. So be careful. Please listen for the first question. Who was the first president of the board of directors? Who was the first president of the board of directors? And we are talking about public sector employees corps at this time. Could you move to the mic? Well, Jamaica Special Constable Corps. Jamaica Special Constable Corps. Who was the first president of the Jamaica Special Constable Corps? Is it Mr. James Morley? No. No. No, come to the mic.
Erica. No.
Hold on a second. Erica, you told so much.
You may tell us how myself. So now, you think give me tablet?
Congratulations, sir. And I know it's a very expensive.
It's smart, you know.
So very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. Congrats, sir. Second question.
Keep on saying.
Second question. Please listen up. Please give me a moment. Because I know the children need it. Who is the immediate past president of the board of directors? The immediate past president. Come on, come in. Get it up here.
1 minute, sir. She was first. No.
No.
Go. Go. He was first.
They're too far from me, man.
Some people are nearer to the mic, so it must be hand.
Her hand went up first.
Oh, so what do you do?
So it's by
No, chill one.
Okay. Alright.
Is she correct?
Yes, she is correct. She's correct.
Online people are complaining.
What is it?
You have to have one for the online people too, you know.
That's what was said. No, they said
Let's continue. Just to guide that.
Brandon is an employee.
No, I'm not a employee.
A contractor. No, it's fine. They want to go to this one. More than the staff.
Alright, just for guidance, the board and staff is qualified. So we know what we just letting the members so they have time to track. Alright, so as I said before, first time it goes up and it moves to the left. Clear? Clear? Crystal. First time, move to the left. Alright. Another question. In what year did the credit union surpass 1 billion in total assets? In what year did the credit union come from the madam? In what year did the credit union surpass 1 billion in total assets? And we're talking about PSECCU. Last year. In what year? 2019. No. Come to several. First time.
2017?
No.
Hold on. Go in the back. Come, you up here. Come on, go. Come on, miss. Come up. Come up, please.
2015?
No. In what year did the credit union surpass 1 billion in total assets? 2018.
No. Gentleman back here next year? No.
2018?
No. Gentleman back here. Come on, back. Eileen, go this one. That gentleman before you. That gentleman before you. Eileen.
2016.
No. Eileen, go by your son. No.
No. In what year? When they know about this? 21? No. No, sir. You are so
Change the question now. Change the question. Change the question.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Remove the mask to take the picture.
How much time is it?
Hello. Yes.
No. Just for clarification, you said PSECCU. I remember the thing changed. So some of us, so make that clear. I'm just saying.
It's the same credit union. We are here for the 52nd annual general meeting of our credit union. All right, better listen up. Listen up, please. Listen up. Don't catch fries up. I don't want to tell you because it sounds so big. So, just keep your brain right there. You don't want to say the amount. I'm going to give an easy one now.
Give me light.
In 1 year, did the credit union celebrate its 50th anniversary?
Too much hard work one time. Not by man.
2018.
I want to take the director of election. All right, let's give it a few minutes, please. Let's give it a few minutes, please. You always can rely on PSECCU cooperative union. So every time you say the last, we still go back and back for something else. But this will be the last. So please, last and final. We have a gas voucher. We know a lot of persons won. We know a lot of persons won gas voucher before. So we have a gas voucher here. And it goes with a question. I'm going to find an easy one, easy one. Don't give up, don't give up. And I'm talking about PSECCU Co-operative Union and 7 to 9 Union Square. In what year did the credit union launch its mobile branch? I mean, we want everybody, so persons who already won, just let others. In 1 year, the credit union launch is mobile branch. Persons who already won, we just ask to give a chance to the other members. And see the hand up. 2014. Alright, congratulations. And we ask Miss Global Lady from Jackwood to present this prize. Thank you very much. And thank you, members, for participating. We move now to our director of election and
again, presidency that was a closely contested election, but there is no losers in here because it shows that you have members who are dedicated towards the movement. They are well-run and model to a lot of others. And I'm glad to see the participation of the members and that you take it seriously. So first, let me say that they were pre-spoiled. Palestine, you know yourself. Who spoiled it? The contestants were Nigel Davis, Jennifer Dixon Gorman, Omar Drysdale, this Drisdale, Julian Oscar, Sanjay Miller, McPherson, and Miss Jason Rodriguez. And the persons elected are Omar Drysdale. You want numbers? We are trying to 90 votes. Mrs. Miller McPherson, 103 votes. Julian Oscar, 84. I mentioned Ms. Dixon Gordon. No. She has got 90. Final first is Jason Rodriguez.
And Jason got how many?
84. 84. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. take out and send it to the board, but that is the belief. On the election. So let me repeat again. We starting from the election. Nigel Davis, 73. Jennifer Dixon, 90. Omar Drysdale, 98. Julian Oscar, 84. Sanchez, McPherson, 103. Jason Rodriguez, 84. 3 squad ballots. Congratulations to everybody who contested and who said what they want to read from we have accepted each other's right. That is the supervisor committee that will be serving for 1 year. I'd like to thank Mr. Davis for his service to the credit union and the next time will come again. If it's so come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I turn back over to the elected with the reminder that all committees should meet within 10 days, set up the best officers, which is the treasurer, secretary, etc. of the office.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director of Elections. Thank you for I now invite Mr. Rodriguez to go to the Supervisory Committee and congratulations, sir. We wish you well and we work together as a team. Item number 14, vote of thanks. I now ask Mr. John Hunter to move the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We are against time, so therefore I will summarize it for a time. I want to give you God thanks for another day amidst COVID-19. We have a very, very good AGA. I want to thank you, the membership, for the out. I guess in my estimation, about 180 something members, which is very, very good amidst the pandemic and social distancing. Thanks to Reverend Faulkner for the devotion this morning and also our supervisor from Mandeville. I want to thank the Stanatitis, Madam President, for the years you have been with us. Special thanks to Mrs. Katrina Grant from our Society's Corporate League, Mr. Richard Dunn, Mrs. Nadia from the Department of Corporate and Friends Society, Ms. Simone Hobbit from Co-operative, Mr. Carl Bryan, as I said before, and all the personnel, and for our members again. Thanks very much. And please remember, keep safe, keep the social distancing, and be good. If you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, be good. Have a blessed day. Long time be good. Thanks so much.
Thank you
so much. Lunch is on the way out, so come to lunch and send the journey home. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,